Good morning, Pelham Road. You can sleep late tomorrow. Time to get up right now. Out of bed. Go ahead, get up. Well, I'm giving you a bonus this week. You're getting two stories this week. You had a Thursday story and you're getting a Friday story, okay? So, hope you like this one. In the first church I served, there was a woman who was advertised to me as a bit of a sourpuss. And she was. Not a very pleasant person to be around, but it wasn't all directed to me. She was just negative in general and just defensive overall. Just not a pleasant sort. She was the type, if she was talking in a conversation and she would get negative and be very very down. She just brought you down. And so, say there was a group of 7 or 8 people, by the time she finished talking, it'd be down to 2 that all would have walked away politely, had somewhere to go. So she was in her mid to late 70s, and, her husband had died when she was in her early 50s. And so, I gave her a lot of slack, and the town even gave her a lot of slack, but she was, no doubt, a very unpleasant sort of person, okay? Everybody gave her a wide berth. Well, her 80th birthday was coming up, and her children, who I thought did a really good job of taking care of her, who were both out of town, decided to put on a big 80th birthday party for her, and they did. And they invited me, they invited lots of people from the town, and lots of people went. This is, a small town. They're going to be supportive and help out where they can, especially if you're going to serve ice cream and pound cake. And so, there was an interesting day. She was pleasant, and, it's a big milestone, 80 years. So it was more or less a good day. And some time passed, and I didn't pick up on this. Joanne brought it to my attention. She came to me one day, and she said, "Have you noticed that so-and-so seems to be much more pleasant?" And I said, I hadn't picked up on that. She said, "Well, around her, the next time you're around her, listen to her conversation and see if it hasn't become less negative and more hopeful." And so, sure enough, in the course of time, I bumped into her, saw her at things, overheard her talk, spoke with her myself. And Joanne was right. She was much more upbeat and not nearly as negative. Of course, people still had that in their mind that she was pretty negative, so they stayed away from her. But she, by and large, had turned over a new leaf and was really quite positive. Well, one particular day, now we're talking over a year later, she's at an event at the church, and it starts this pouring down rain, and she had walked up, and I told her, I said, "I'll give you a ride home." And so she got in the car with me, and I was giving her a ride home, and I had my umbrella, and I was taking her up her steps, and she was very appreciative and grateful. And I just kind of broached the question. I said, called her name. I said, "If you don't mind me saying so, you seem a lot more content and happy lately." And she said, "I think I am." And I said, "Do you know of anything? Can you explain the reason why that is?" She said, "Well, she said, on my 80th birthday, I thought that, I had spent a lot of my life worried about what other people thought. And I had made a lot of my decisions in my life to try to please other people and make other people think good of me. My husband died when I was 51, and I really wanted to remarry, but I didn't remarry because I thought the townspeople would say certain things about me. And, I've thought about changing jobs when I was younger, but I wouldn't. I stuck with these jobs because I thought, well, they'll think less of me if I quit." And she said, "After I had my 80th birthday, I just thought, I'm not going to try to please anybody else. I'm just going to stop worrying about what other people think. And boy, it's made a real difference." And I said, "Well, I'd say so. I'd say it has made a real difference. I can see it on your face. I can see it in the way you treat other people. it has made a real difference that you're not trying to please everybody, that you're living by an entirely different standard now. She said, yeah, I don't know why I wasted those 80 years trying to please people, trying to worry about what they were thinking about me, because, you know, they're really not worth it. She said, preacher, there's a passage of scripture. We don't hardly ever read it. It's at the end of John. She said, I think it's the end of chapter 2 of John. And she's paraphrased it this way. She said, these people come to Jesus and want to make him king. And the scripture says he didn't give himself to it because he knew what was in the heart of man. She said, I think he knew they were fickle. I wish I'd have known that years ago. I wish I'd have known that you didn't have to worry about pleasing them, and that you could never please them anyway, and just live by a different standard. Well, you know, that's a good lesson to learn. It does sadden me that she was 80 before she learned it, but it's not a bad lesson to learn. That, you know, you can't please everybody, and you can't worry about what other people think. God's given you a compass. That's who you need to be following. Well, have a good day. See you Monday.